Boxing Lowdown, and I'm back with another video. Just thought I would share my post-fight thoughts with regards to the fights last night. Gonna start off with the Dillian Whyte and Whyte-Rivas card. Obviously, let's start off with the main event itself. Dillian Whyte, as I pointed out in my prediction, I did feel that he would earn a hard-fought 12-round decision win over Whyte-Rivas, and that's pretty much what happened. Going into the fight in the first early rounds, I thought Whyte-Rivas did well to press Whyte. I had that feeling going in that, he was going to bring the action to him, bring a lot of pressure onto Dillian Whyte, see what he can take. And in the first round, I gave it to Whyte-Rivas. I actually thought that he was in his chest, and he was throwing punches with a lot of mean intent. He was really taking the fight to Dillian Whyte. Same in the second round early on, he's bringing the fight to him. But Whyte never seemed to be under too much pressure. He seemed to always be in control. And a right hand kind of stopped Whyte-Rivas in his tracks, and it hurt Oscar. And going forward from there, he kind of like went into a shell a little bit. He didn't throw as much punches as he did in the first round anyway. And the pattern of the fight up until like towards the later rounds was pretty much set. Dillian Whyte, I felt, was pretty much in control. Whyte-Rivas did have his moments, but when we got to the ninth round now, that was the knockdown. That Dillian Whyte's legs, he said his legs crossed when they were on the ropes, and he got hit with a good uppercut from Whyte-Rivas, similar to the uppercut that AJ used on him, which dropped Dillian Whyte. He was sprawled out on the ropes just like that. But to his credit, Dillian Whyte got up, and he came back and he fought well in that round, and he fought well in the remaining rounds. So overall, a tough night for Dillian Whyte, but a well-earned hard victory for him for sure. I definitely had him winning the fight. I had him up by a few rounds. I thought Whyte-Rivas had his moments, but I just thought he didn't do enough to capitalise on the knockdown. And, Dillian Whyte, his class in the end prevailed. He took the decision win. He now becomes WBC interim champion, meaning that he is now the mandatory challenger to Deontay Wilder's WBC title. Now, we know Deontay Wilder's going to be facing Luis Ortiz, probably in November now. Should Deontay Wilder get through that, which is there's no guarantee on that. Should he get through that, then they're talking about Tyson Fury, maybe in February. But here's the thing now, the sticking point in this situation, which I'm not sure about, but I've heard it being muttered quite a few times. But with Dillian Whyte now being a WBC interim champion, I'm hearing that he has to fight Deontay Wilder by, the end of May. Whether that's they actually have to get into the ring and fight with each other, or whether they just have to have terms agreed by the end of May, I'm sure we'll find out in the next coming weeks or so. But the talk that Eddie Hearn and some of the matchroom people are saying is that Dillian Whyte has to have some sort of agreement in place to face Deontay Wilder by the end of May. With Deontay Wilder taking on Luis Ortiz and possibly Tyson Fury after, is he going to have enough time to squeeze a fight in with Dillian Whyte before the end of May? Doesn't seem possible to me. And also with Dillian Whyte becoming the mandatory, I don't know if the WBC are going to force it if Tyson Fury, throws his hat into the ring and they do actually have that rematch. So I don't know. I'm a bit skeptical about that. I think that he will obviously get his shot, whoever is the champion, whether it's Tyson Fury, whether it's Luis Ortiz. I think that Dillian Whyte will get his shot within the next year or so, but we may even have to wait until towards the end of next year for that to happen. So in the meantime, Dillian Whyte's going to have to tick over. He's going to have another fight. I applaud him for actually saying that he still wants to have the hard fights. He doesn't want to have no easy touches. But at this stage, with you becoming the WBC interim champion, is it the wise thing to, go in there with another very, very difficult opponent and potentially losing your spot that you've worked so hard for? So it's going to be interesting to see what Dillian Whyte does. He said he wants to have a fight before the end of the year. Who's he going to take on? Will it be like a softer touch just to keep him ticking over? Or will it be another, top 10, top 15 heavyweight? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, who you'd like to see him possibly fight next. And as we go over the next few weeks or so, we'll know more about this WBC situation, is whether Dillian Whyte has to actually fight Deontay Wilder by the end of May, or whether it's before the end of next year maybe. So I know that with the mandatory position, some of them like to take their time. We've seen in certain situations before in light heavyweight where Adonis Stevenson was a WBC champion and Eleider Alvarez was the number one. He was the mandatory contender to fight him. I don't think they didn't fight for like 2 years or so. So Dillian Whyte in his post-fight interviews is not getting ahead of himself. I can tell from that. He's kind of expecting the worst. So it's a good idea for him not to get his hopes up. But I think, he will get his shot. But in the meantime, he's going to have another fight to tick over. So Those are my thoughts with regards to the main event. The undercard in itself I enjoyed. You know, I enjoyed the Allen and Price fight. Going in, I thought that Allen might take it, you know, because I thought David Price might gas out after 4 or 5 rounds, which is what a lot of people were thinking. And in boxing, you're only as good as your last fight. Against Cash Ali, I saw that David Price was gassing, and Cash Ali, if he could stay in it, I thought he would have brought a lot of problems to David Price after the 4th, 5th round, but we all know how that ended. But David Price boxed a brilliant fight, you know, won literally every second of every round, just jabbed David Allen's head off. And the class told, you know, class prevailed in that fight. He was a level above Dave Allen. He didn't have no answers for him. Allen didn't. And he quit at the end of the 10th round. So it pretty much sums up the level between David Allen and David Price. You know, a lot of us made that mistake, though, thinking that Allen might take Price out. But all credit to Pricey, man. He went in there and did his thing. And he looked brilliant. The best knockout by far, I mean, well, the knockout of the night was, of course, with Derek Chisora and Artur Spilka. That was an incredible 2nd round knockout from him. I picked Chisora to win that fight as well, but I didn't expect it to end like that early. So that was a great win for him. And also got a shout out to Dan Aziz, who became I believe it was the English champion, the Southern Area champion, sorry, in his fight against Duffield, and Richard Riakporhe against Billam Smith. Those were 2 good fights as well. But the main event is which I'm really on about here in this video. Dillian Whyte was impressive behind his jab. Thought he showed a very good solid jab against Oscar Rivas, and I believe he came in that heavy really to, you know, kind of take some of the pressure off him with Oscar Rivas coming in. You know, I thought he used that to his advantages, kind of leaned on Rivas when he could, and ultimately deserved the victory. So let me know your thoughts and opinions on that fight in the comment section below. What would you like to see next for Dillian Whyte? How impressed was you with his performance? More videos to come in the next few days, but for now, drop your comments in the comment section below. I'll catch you guys in the next one.